fellow Toastmasters and leaders. Richard Wolf here with the Evangeline Club. Wanted to come to you today to teach you a little bit about leadership. And I want to show you how leadership in the real world, in our families, in our careers, also in our community, and how it applies inside of Toastmasters. Because leadership is a worldwide concept, right? We use leadership at work, in the home, and also in our community. So I'm going to show you how it ties together, hopefully give you a few key concepts and ideas that you can bring to your clubs, your areas, and your divisions to make yourself and your Toastmasters clubs even better. So again, division leadership training, and I will say this too, you can use this same training and same ideas at the club level for your presidents, VPs, VPMs, VPPRs, etc., and help them grow in their leadership skills as well. First, we're going to talk about the why. Why are you guys here? Why did you step into a leadership role? Was it to check a box? Was it to try and get yourself to the next level in the Toastmasters world? Hey, no problems with that and no judgment. You want to proceed through the program and reach those levels. I'm a 6-year distinguished Toastmaster. Some have done it a whole lot less, some have taken even longer. But you got to work toward that. So there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to acknowledge it, and we want to know why you're here. We want to give you the plan on how to use what you're doing this year to get you closer to your goal. That's what's important. That's where the WII-FM radio station comes into play. We're all looking for what's in it for me. Sure, we want to serve, we want to give, no problem, and that's fantastic. But we live in a reality world that we know there's something that we want to get out of this. And we can do both, and it can be achieved very, very simply and easily. But you want to know how it's going to help you, and you want to plot out a path to get you there. You know, is it to the DTM level, just the ALS? What level are you trying to achieve? And look and see what you're going to need to get there. Reach out to Joelle. Reach out to any of your division leaders and the district leaders, and they'll help you get there and show you the path to get there. But again, the why is important. Did you step into this role to help the clubs as well as help yourself, or just help yourself? Because I'm going to be honest with you, you've got to be willing to give back to the clubs, or else the job is going to be just that, a job. And we want to make it better. First, let's recognize and be self-aware and be honest. What do we think the first obstacles and challenges are going to be? Well, now we're a month or so into the Toastmasters year, and we've seen a little bit of what's going on. We've probably interacted with some clubs, and we've probably already had a couple of challenges. Some conflict resolution had to be happening yet, or no? Maybe not? Well, then you got a good division. But that's going to be one of your biggest challenges. So we're going to walk through some of that tonight. But think about from the division level, or the area level, if that's where you are, and look at the clubs you have. Who are the clubs that are going to need more of your attention, more of your care, and more of your love? Got to show them the love. The Toastmasters love makes a difference, let me tell you. And how does that relate back to your goal? Can you get what you need to get achieved through your clubs? Because I'm going to tell you one thing that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to go to your clubs, do all the work to help them get where they need to be, and then step out and expect it to keep happening. You have to teach and train some skills for them to move to the next level, thus helping your areas and yourself as division. And then who else? The district. Helps the whole program. So what are they? Let's take a quick couple of seconds and see, and just get honest with ourselves. Make some notes right now. What do you see as your biggest challenge in your division, in your area? Hey, if you're a club leader and you're watching this, what do you think is the biggest challenge in your club? We're dealing with people here. You know, God made this big round ball and put Adam on it and then Eve, and then he threw all the humans in it and kind of mucked it all up, right? Well, he didn't, we did. But we got to remember we're dealing with human beings. One thing I think is critical when it comes to leadership is trust. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later, but trust. You've got to build trust with these folks in the clubs and your area levels. So what I'm going to talk about, and part of this is going to be, what are some areas the club needs to focus on, and where do you need to help them focus? We're going to talk about what your leadership lid might be. Okay, and we're going to dig into that in a little bit more. And then I'm going to show you how you can use the Moments of Truth program to help your clubs find where their areas are and then move forward from there. As you know, in the Moments of Truth, or if you don't, dig into it, that's in the Successful Club series. 6 areas in the total club that you want to focus on. But we're going to kind of narrow it down even just to 3 most important, and we're going to see how that helps our clubs move forward, okay? Next, we're going to learn about leadership laws or principles. I believe there's 3 of them that he's not a doctor, I don't think, but John Maxwell talks about. You've probably seen him, read about him, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Sure, he's got 21, but I think there's 3 that really apply to what we're doing in the Toastmasters world. We're going to talk about those. But if you dig into the Leadership Excellence series, there's a couple of those that are going to help you. Service and leadership, that's a big one. Painting the vision, that's another big one too. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And then setting the proper expectations for your directors in the area and your club leaders. What do you expect them to do? You're going to have to paint that vision of what Toastmasters is about to get them to move forward. So again, you're dealing with people. You're going to have to sell them on the ideas and the concepts, and then teach and show them how to execute against that plan and expectation. Then we're going to look at that club success plan. Actually going to back it up to the division and the area success plan. And what do you guys have to achieve to get there? That's going to be critical for you. And what are your checkpoints? What are you going to be looking at? And what's the roadmap to get there? Build and grow your leadership to the next level. Now this is you we're talking about. And how can we use the Toastmasters world and what we're going to do here to grow ourselves? Again, what's in it for me? WIIFM. There's going to be a little selfishness here, but through you helping them, you're going to grow and build yourself in a leadership role. It's going to be awesome. You're going to see. Now let's step into the whole idea of what leadership starts with. Starts with me, right? Absolutely. So we have to be self-aware and we have to see where we are. And this is where we kind of jump to talk in about the law of the lid, okay? The first person we have to lead is ourselves. If I can't lead myself well, how in the devil am I going to try and lead somebody else? I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, it's going to get kind of ugly and messy. You might learn through it, but again, we have to lead ourselves well first before we can teach someone else how to lead themselves as well as others around them. So, how are we going to develop ourselves? We can do a little bit at a time, focusing on 1 or 2 key areas and then building on those to the next one, right? Okay? It's a process. When we lead ourselves well, we move it to others as well. Now let's talk about the 5 levels of leadership. So you need to know where you are. I think that was kind of a typo there. Level 1 is position. Right now, at the beginning of the year, all of you guys have positional leadership. You were given the division director role, the area director role, the president role, on down the line. So people are going to listen to you because of that position that you hold. That's just a beginning point, a starting point. They'll do it because they have to, but you're going to have to work to move to the next level, which is permission. And this is when you're beginning to build some relationships. Now, at the club level, and even at the area and division, you may know a lot of the people in the leadership in your clubs. So stepping into those roles, it's not going to be as difficult. You may jump in at a permission level because you know a lot of the folks that are running the presidency roles. Or you know, if you're the president, you know a lot of the folks in the other roles because you've been in the club for some time. So you may get to jump a little bit ahead. It depends. But again, you form some relationships. People are following you because they know and like and trust you. Very critical piece of the puzzle. Then we jump into 3, which is production. Production means now you're getting some results out of the people that you're leading. Now sometimes in a club environment, this is going to take a few months to get things moving. You know, have you got members coming in, new guests? And if you got a few people joining, well now you're starting to see some results, right? You're starting to see some educational levels being reached, a few speeches being given, a CC, a CL being popped off. Now you're starting to see some results. Okay, level 4 is the next one, is going to be people development, or what we like to call reproduction. You know, this is what God said, right? Be fruitful and multiply. So we've got to reproduce ourselves, okay? We're teaching not just ourselves some leadership skills, but we're teaching others around us how to be better leaders. We're taking that VPPM and the VPPR, and we're bringing them together. Now, I know at first you think I'm talking from like a president's role, but look, as a division director or an area director, you can step in and help a club organize all this. teach each leadership level, president, VP, EVP, and VPPR, that, hey, you have to develop your team, guys. You got to go into your club. You have to find some people that are willing to put in a little bit of work and effort, and that also have a little bit of skill set in the area that you need. You have to find them, and you have to ask them. You have to recruit them onto your team, okay? But you can help these folks do this. So through that, you're developing them to become a leader of other people, right? So this is critical. Number 5 is personhood or respect. People are doing things for you because they respect you, all right? Many times this is probably the toughest and what we call the pinnacle level of leadership, but I think it's reachable. More often than not, though, it does take an extraordinary amount of time. Certain environments, it can be a little bit quicker, but again, to move through these levels 1 to 5, you've had to build trust, and they have to like you and know that you're there for them and you have their back when necessary. That's what I've always said leadership is about. Trust, vulnerability, and motivation. Can I motivate these folks to move forward, and can I get them to trust me because I'm doing right for them and for those around us? Next, let's talk about the law of the lid. I brought it up a minute earlier. The law of the lid basically states real simply that the lower your ability to lead, then the lower your potential to lead is as well. How does this apply in the real world? Well, we like to look at 2 axes. And as I turn around and look at the PowerPoint for a moment, ability and knowledge and dedication and execution are your 2 key factors, right? X and Y axis. So, as an example, if I think my leadership ability and knowledge of leadership is a 3, okay? So I know a little bit about leadership, but I could learn more for sure, but I've been doing it for just a little bit. Maybe I've been the VPPM and I'm moving into the VPPE role. We'll use the club level as an analogy. But you know what? I'm an 8 on the scale of dedication and execution. I'm going to do what it takes. You tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. If I'm the VPPR and I got to bring people into the club, if you tell me to wear 1 red shoe and 1 blue shoe, I'm going out there and doing it. That's what I'm going to do because I got the dedication and execution. We're going to make it happen. But I need a little bit of help on the ability part because I'm not as knowledgeable over here. So this equals my effectiveness, all right? Well, what if I increase my dedication from an 8 to a 10? Well, that's only about a 25% increase, right? When you look at the numbers there. So I can work harder and harder, but I have not changed my ability or my knowledge. It doesn't give you a lot of results, does it? It doesn't improve very much, huh? 25%, that's decent if you're investing in the stock market, but that's not what we're doing here. We're talking about leadership. So what if we look at the bigger piece of the pie? You may not be able to see this well on the video, my apologies. But if we go from a 3 up to a 7 on our ability and our knowledge because we went out and learned some skills, we read some books, we took some classes and courses, went online and dug around and watched some YouTube videos and got some ideas and concepts, and we come back and start using them, that's going to bring us up to a 7. So you're going to bring your box all the way over here and down here. So now that's about a 300% return on your effort. Not by increasing my working or my dedication, execution here, right? But by increasing my knowledge and my ability, okay? Very critical. In most cases, this is going to be where you want to focus, is getting more education and ability. Now, there are people out there that have great ability and good knowledge, but hey, are they executing it? Are they using what they know, or do they just know it and they sit back and relax? There's leaders like that, and they think they're good leaders. I would venture to say they're not as good as they think they are. Next one we want to talk about is leaders and followers, okay? For any leadership organization, you've got to have quite a few followers, right? Because not everybody can be a leader. You're going to be butting heads and banging around, and it's not going to get a whole lot done in many cases. So this group that's going to be high on the knowledge and ability side, say a 7, and then even 8 on execution and dedication, these are your leaders. Now the ones that might be not as knowledgeable on the leadership side, but they're working toward it, they're going to be probably the followers right behind the leaders, but the ones that you're going to put a little effort into, and they're going to start moving up the chain. That's the guy that just came in and joined, but he's gung-ho. He's given 3 or 4 speeches in a month or 2. He's in the club, he's active. That's the guy that's a follower. If you tell him and say, look, man, hey, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I need some help. Do you mind helping me with this? Sure, what you need. That's somebody you're grooming into a future leader. But I want to show you the other side of the puzzle here. And that's the folks that I call participants. And you know what? I got to raise my hand and be honest here that I have, upon occasion, dipped into and out of this role as a participant in my club. Served in all the leadership roles, reached my goals and done what I've had, and I've stepped back out of the club level. And I'll just pop in upon occasion and I'll participate when I see the need. Or if someone reaches out and asks me, I'm there to help and do what I can do to help. But that's a participant. Nothing wrong with those folks. Those may be your senior Toastmasters that's been around for years and years and years, and maybe they're not a DTM, but maybe they're achieving and doing what they like. Maybe they like the social aspect of your club. They haven't really stepped into leadership much, or maybe the lower levels, but they're there to help when you need them. Participants are good to have, but the actions are what really tell the story. But you need to know who they are so that you don't try to count on them just because of their seniorness or their experience in Toastmasters and been around for a while. Everybody's going to ebb and flow, and everybody's listening to that same radio station, what's in it for me. And if they don't see the value of what's in it when they come to a Toastmaster meeting for themselves, then they may not do as much as you want them to do. Recognize it, know it, and then deal with it. And know that you can count on them for certain things, but not as much as you might want. Focus somewhere else. Find the people that are back over here that are a good follower that you can bring in and teach them some ability and bring them up. Okay? Let's see. So where are you deficient? Look at yourself on that scale and see what you think. Is it in the ability or knowledge? Do I need to learn more about leadership? Do you, or do they, the club you're looking at, or your area director, do they know how to lead? You might need to give them some books to read, some articles to grasp and read about, and understand what leadership's about. That's part of your job as a division director to teach all those below you, areas and clubs if necessary. Hold some seminars. Go out there and teach. Leadership Excellence Series is a valuable, untapped resource in the Toastmasters world. You need to start using it. Everything we need for the club and the area and division roles are there. Read them, dig into them, do some studying, and teach those programs. That'll help you a lot. So where are you at? Is it ability and knowledge you need some work on, or do you have that under control? You don't need any help there. Or is it your execution and your dedication? So am I willing to do the work, and can I do the work? Which one? Again, 1 to 10 and 1 to 10. That comes back to that scale and see where you fit. Where do I need to focus? In most cases, your ability level needs to be at least to a 5 or 6 before it's even worth putting in extra effort on the dedication and execution side. I will take someone who's committed all day long, and I will teach them the skills that they need, as long as they're hungry and willing to listen and do. Because just because they know it doesn't mean they're going to use it. And in some cases, we need to look at ourselves and see, where do we fit in? We may have all the knowledge in the world in our jobs, but we may come to Toastmasters and we don't want to do all that. So I'm going to be honest. You need to think about, why did I take this role? You've got the next year to make an impact in people's lives, people's clubs, and in the district. Give it your all. Ask for help. Reach out to me, district leaders, Joel Dawson. Man, we've got people all around you. Jeff Harris's and Kimberly Boyd's, Scott Morgan's. There's folks all over this district that are there to help you if you just reach out and ask. They're only a phone call, a text, or an email away. So reach out. What's next? Again, evaluate yourself where you are. We talked about that. Where do you think your clubs are? Take a look at an honest evaluation of your clubs. If you're a division, you've got, I think Division A, when I had it, was about 17 clubs, including the prison clubs. And think 3 or 4 areas. So you have to look at those areas and see, okay, where are my weaknesses? Let me evaluate this. Okay, have some open discussion. If you're the division director, get your area directors on a phone call, have some open discussion about this. Where are we weak? Where are we strong? Where can I get someone that's got some skills and help them to help another club or another member or what have you? Okay, so have that discussion. Now let's jump into the Toastmasters world and the leadership handbook for a moment. Pages 36 and 37 is the division director area of what your expectations and your responsibilities are. Okay, read it, know it, live it, and love it. Do you understand me? Read it, know it, live it, love it. Say that 14 times fast. La, 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 la. All right, next, page 38 to 39 talks about the area director's roles and what they are. But your job is to lead your members to success, okay? Paint the vision of what Toastmasters is all about. Positive, helpful club environment in which people build self-confidence, right? And personally develop themselves to become better people. If they do it here in this world of Toastmasters, they're going to do it outside in the other world, at home, in the community, and at work. We have to help them with that and paint that vision for those folks. Questions are the answer. A very important sales skill that I've learned over the years in sales, the more questions I ask, the more information I receive, and the more guidance I can give someone. So ask a lot of questions of your area directors and your club leaders. Ask them what the problems are in their club. 9 out of 10 times, they're going to figure it out if they don't already know it. And now you can get them asking you questions. When they ask you, well, you know, my club members aren't showing up to the meetings very regular. They're haphazard. Well, what do you think I can do? You don't know that until you ask the questions. And they're going to give you the answers, and then you can post them. That's what's called real coaching, okay? One thing about leadership, especially in these roles you guys are covering right now, you're not going to be able to just run into a club and tell them what all to do. Oh, you didn't wear your name tags. Oh, you don't have a guest list. Oh, you didn't do this. Oh, you only had one speaker. Y'all got to fix all these things. That might be true, but you walking in there and with the seagull effect, flying around squawking and just dropping bombs on them, it's not going to work that way. You got to go in there. What do you say? Positive, encouraging environment, right? We got to go in there and point out all the good stuff. What are they doing well? Hey, but you know what? I did notice that you might can improve a little bit right here. I didn't see a guest list. Do you have one of those? Well, look, do you think it's important to get a list of the guests that came into the meeting tonight? I think tonight you had 3 guests, right? Did you get their contact information? Do you know why that's important? Because you want to reach back out to those folks, right? Even if they don't join tonight, you have their email and their phone number. You can follow up over time. Heck, get their address and drop them a thank you note just for showing up. That might make a heck of an impact, wouldn't it? So again, asking questions, getting information, and then giving some guidance. Would you like some help on that? And they're going to ask for it in a minute. All right, where are we at now? So, love this part. Toastmasters gives us all the tools we need. If we had nothing else in the world, if there was no Google, but we had Toastmaster manuals, Successful Club manuals, Better Speaker Series manuals, and Leadership Excellence manuals, dude, we're done. That's all we need. We'll be able to bring our clubs to the next level and be President's Distinguished every single year, from the bottom all the way to the top. I promise you we can do it, but you have to use the tools we have, and you have to know they're there, and you need to know what's in them. That's part of the work. We talked about what? Execution and knowledge. The knowledge is there, but you have to execute and get in there. This is where you're going to sell the clubs also on using these same tools. You use them, but you have to teach them to use them as well. So let's dig in a little bit. So, a leader versus a manager. I want to cover this real quick because I do find this in some cases this becomes a bit of an issue in the Toastmasters world, and I've seen it in the outside world many, many times. What's the difference? We talk about leadership. What's a leader? Leader influences, right? I mentioned earlier, a leader builds trust in his people. He motivates his folks. Why? Because he shows he cares. He shows empathy for the people that he's talking to and that he's over, because he cares about them. He truly wants them to succeed, because why? When they succeed, he succeeds. But now a manager, nothing wrong with a manager too, let me clarify here. But a manager's he's checking boxes, you gave your speech in that, great, appreciate it, let me sign your book. You're managing processes and tasks, and you're moving toward the goals, which is important. But the leader is more about the people and making sure the people are getting what they need to. Because look, I promise you, can't remember now, gosh, 4 or 5 years ago when me and Joel kind of teamed up, new member focused. If you focus on your new members, because some of the folks that are in there, you can focus with them too if they're getting it and coming along. But sometimes they're kind of, I don't know, not in the program. They're probably just participants maybe. Don't worry about them, but find the people that are hungry, that are there for a reason, and what their why is. Help them move into the Toastmasters program and see some results. Learn how to be a better speaker. Learn how to be a better leader. That's what a leader does. But you're a leader because you're using the tools that Toastmaster gives us. Now you have to manage processes because this works together. It fits hand in glove. Manage the processes and lead the people. And use all the team members to get there. Again, nothing good or bad about one or the other, but you want to be making sure that you're not forgetting about the people because you're so busy managing. I'm going to give you one example, we're going to move on. I've seen it so many times, in our club at sometimes, and in other clubs I go to. The agenda wasn't completely filled out, so we're scrambling to fill a few roles. Toastmaster, the president's running around trying to fill everything. Can you do this? Hey, can you be the accountant? I need you to be the grammarian. Okay, great, fantastic. Hey, look, I need one more speaker. You want to give a speech tonight? Just 5 to 7 minutes. Come on. How about table topics? You want to do some table topics for me? In that rush, in that print, oh, time to get started. Let's get going. It's 8 o'clock. Let me get going. You forgot about all the people in the room, right? Because you're busy rushing around taking care of things. That's the manager versus leader. The leader is proactive and has gotten everything set up before they got there that night. They made phone calls, they shot emails throughout the week, texts, they did whatever they needed to do to get the agenda filled out to be ready for the meeting so they could come in and visit with folks, talk about the club stuff, talk about the roles and their speeches and what you're going to do, a little bit of mentoring and such. Get things moving like that. That's the difference between a leader and a manager. Again, no right or wrong, nothing good or bad about one or the other, but it's a skill you have to develop. A true leader is really a servant leader. They're stepping in because they want to help the people around them. They want to make us all be better and move up, right? All ships rise when the waves come up, don't they? So it's not about I, it's about we as a team. So don't get distracted. You know, there's no I in the word team. Yeah, I know, there's an M and an E, but it's backwards. So it's team. Keep that in mind. So again, you're helping because you're serving other people, they're going to help you in return. It's almost like a reciprocating law that people are going to give back to you when you give to them. So servant leadership, again, we just talked about it, but I think from a definition standpoint, I think that's kind of important. Skill of influencing people to work enthusiastically toward goals identified as being for the common good. So we're working hard because it's going to help everybody, right? It's going to help the area, our club, and our members that are coming in on the division and the district level, all the way up the chain. But it's also a skill that can be developed over time. It's a process, not an event. Leadership is a process, not an event. Keep that in mind. Management, in many cases, is an event. I'm getting checklists and things done, got this done, boom, whoosh, got that goal finished, we're going to move on to the next one. Leadership is a skill that can be developed. People always ask, are leaders born or are they developed and learned? Is that a learned skill? Well, from my experience, I think every leader on the face of the planet has been born, right? Unless they were hatched, maybe, or I don't know. But point being, these leadership skills can be developed. But it takes what? Dedication, and it takes knowledge. I come back to the one thing, it's either deficiency of knowledge, I don't know how, or it's a deficiency of execution. I don't want to put in the work, or for some reason I just can't. Who knows what that reason would be. But it makes time and takes time to win with people. Regular practice in order to grow skills facilitate real change. So it's going to take some time. Don't think this is going to happen overnight, guys. It's going to take several months. That's why we're given a whole year to achieve our goals. But start now. Don't wait for 3 months or to the mid-year point and then start hustling up and getting everything done. No, 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 no. Start now, get your foundation set, and have things working in a way that's a system for you to make things better. Makes time and takes time to get with people.